Angola generates billions of dollars every year by exporting strategic resources to the global market. Yet, looking across the capital city, millions remain trapped under corrugated metal roofs, living in extreme poverty just miles from a modern skyline. That immense wealth hasn't vanished. It is concentrated within a tiny, protected network of elites who keep their assets docked in private harbors like this. The political group overseeing this divide is the MPLA. For decades, they have relied on a single historical claim, that they, and they alone, liberated the country from colonial rule. Today, that liberation story is used to justify their continued grip on power. They fill modern rallies with red flags and balloons, demanding loyalty from a younger generation that has no memory of the revolution. Usually, we assume that a government maintains control by building a prosperous society that citizens want to keep around. But in Angola, the state's priorities have shifted. When staying in power becomes the only goal, every institution begins to click into place to form a system built for self-preservation. This system is fueled by the state's monopoly over the country's most valuable exports. The government holds total control over extracting oil and diamonds. They ensure the public never gets close to the profits. These operations are physically secured and isolated, ensuring wealth bypasses the general population entirely. To maintain this monopoly, the regime actively discourages the development of new industries or investment in modern technology. Branching resource pipelines into new sectors would create an independent middle class, no longer relying on the state. By blocking these branches, the economy remains a closed loop. Every dollar is forced back to the same elite network. By restricting economic growth to a few key sectors, the elite ensure that every citizen's livelihood remains tied to the party's approval. You might wonder why citizens don't simply use the democratic process to vote for a different path. Because the ruling party controls the institutions that write the rules and tally the votes. When you own the Electoral Commission and the Constitutional Court, you have the final word before the first ballot is cast. This creates what is known locally as the tyranny of the stomach. The state has effectively removed meritocracy from the equation. Talent and hard work aren't enough to guarantee a living. Young Angolans face a choice. If you oppose the system, you are cut off from resources and face poverty. If you want to succeed, the only reliable path is to join the party network. The state acts as a gatekeeper, where political loyalty is the only currency accepted for basic economic survival. When economic pressure fails and citizens organize to demand change, the state shifts towards direct intervention. The military and police act as a physical barrier. Their role is to disrupt opposition and limit the ability of civil society to gather and coordinate. When it comes to activists and independent thinkers, the state fabricates severe criminal charges. Simple protests are often labeled as terrorism or gang formation. These charges are meant to paralyze the population with fear. The goal is to break the momentum of any mass mobilization or strike before it can threaten the status quo. Legal and physical force are the system's final tools, used to protect the network when its economic leverage is no longer enough. If this group has already amassed so much wealth, why wouldn't they simply step down and retire? Because relinquishing power is an existential threat. Losing office means losing state immunity, which would immediately expose the entire network to corruption investigations. If they are ousted, they face the loss of their assets and the high probability of imprisonment. Holding on to the state has transcended politics. It is the only guaranteed shield they have to protect their freedom and their fortunes. In this system, corruption isn't a side effect of governance, it's the foundation. Until that structure is replaced, the nation's wealth will remain a tool for elite survival rather than a resource for its